Good morning, traders. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How are we all doing on this beautiful Money Monday? That's right, baby. The Money Monday we've all been waiting for. I'm excited, guys. I'm fired up, and I'm ready to hit this market hard like we hit it hard last week, carrying some of that weekly momentum over to this week, and we're going to make this week even better than last week, and we are going to keep crushing it for the month of March, guys. What's up and what's going on? Again, good morning. Happy Money Monday. It is March 14th, 9 o'clock in the morning. How we all doing? I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend, and I hope you guys are having an awesome Money Monday morning. What's up, Harvey, Alan, Steve? What's up, Jakey, Lakey, Angel, Addie? Good morning. John G, Kids King, Trader Girl, Beth, Chris, Corey, and Mr. Dontino. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Mr. Wade, good morning. Let's get it. Yes, I'm feeling a lot better, as you guys can tell. I feel a lot better. Just a good little disconnect this weekend. Doped up on a lot of medicine. Feel a little bit better. So hopefully this is sustainable, right? Hopefully I nipped it in the butt and we're all set, ready to rock and roll. Joe, Beth, what's up? Hit me up over on YouTube. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Over on YouTube, who do we got today? We got John, Mr. Ed Nevis, the man, the myth, the legend, Raymond, Steve, Steven, we got Elizabeth, Joseph. What's up? Good morning, traders, and happy Money Monday. How we all doing today? We feeling good? We feeling great? Are we ready to rock and roll? Are we ready to crush this market once again like we crushed it last week? Because I tell you what, guys, we were on fire. I mean, fire. Shorting oil, shorting these small cap oil stacks, shorting the crap out of the SPY and the Qs. I mean, last week was just an amazing week, and profits are proving that, guys. Have you guys had a chance to go look at profits chat from last week? This morning I came in and I'm just scanning through profits chat, and I'm like, my goodness, the same traders every single day posting up profits left and right. So not only did we have some big time profits, the most important thing, consistent profits. Like I said, every single day we have the same traders over and over and over, profits on profits on profits. I want to see profits chat looking better than what profits chat was looking like last week, guys. All right, so hit it hard, stay disciplined. Yeah, let's stay disciplined today, guys. Right? Does that make any sense? Stay disciplined, right? Like you guys were doing last week. Stay consistent. Identify the best of the best opportunities, right? Build your plans, get prepared, focus, 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 and do exactly what you guys did last week, and you will have a better week, and we will crush it once again. Yes, Steve's like, what is Josh saying? Discipline? That's a new word. I created it this morning. Discipline is 1990s, guys. No one uses the word discipline anymore. It's a discipline. Okay, it's discipline, right? Like fire, right? That's a banging t-shirt you got there. No cap. What do the kids say nowadays? No cap? That's a word. Man, that sandwich was banging. That was a knee slapping sandwich. That sandwich was fire. Alan says the drugs are real. Alan's like, Josh, calm down on your drug intake, buddy. All right, discipline? Really? All right, buddy. All right. I'm gonna cancel today. I'm working with a drug dealer. No, I'm kidding, guys. No cap. It's dip-a-lipping, knee slapping. All right, guys, let's quit messing around. Let's dive into it. I'm feeling good today. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to see everybody inside of chat, ready to rock, ready to roll. And let's dive into it. Let's talk about what we have today. It's a pretty easy day, guys. 4 small cap penny stocks that we're going to keep on watching the SPY and the Qs. The VIX is creeping up again here in pre-market. The put to call ratio still shows more puts than calls in the market, so there's still some bearish sentiment in the market. And oil could start to bounce today. So we'll be watching oil ETFs, and then some of these small cap oil stocks if we do start to see oil rip and run again off this level of support. All right, so we got a lot to talk about. Let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and dive into it. Wade is absolutely right. Josh is high. Josh is extremely high right now on life. You're damn right, because I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to crush this market with you guys and watch you guys posting up some big time profits like last week. I am high on profits, chat. All right, guys, let's dive into it. Number one, we got AGRI. All right, AGRI, prior day mover. There's no news on this stock, right? When we go through our pre-market stock selection checklist, right, there's a couple things we're looking for, right? Number one, is the stock gapping up, right? Why is it gapping up? What's the volume? How much volume are we trading today compared to the average? Again, be mindful of the float. Is it a stock that could rip and run? Is it a stock that's a slow, steady mover because it's a large float, right? And then the catalyst. Why is the stock moving? Is there a good press release? Is it a prior day momentum play? Is it a daily technical formation? What's the reason that the stock is moving? What's the reason that we're going to put the stock on our watch list? Well, if we look at AGRI, right, we know we're gapping up a little bit, 315 to 380. We got a nice little gap up. AGRI is trading 6 million shares in pre-market, on average 4, so we are trading above the average, up 20%. Low float stock, it could rip and run. What's the catalyst? What's the reason? There's no news on AGRI, but what do we see? Well, there's a couple things that we see. Prior day momentum, right? This is the big time mover there on Thursday. Didn't dump on, I mean, it did dump on off. It gave a lot back, but it set sideways there on Friday, right? So we have a prior day mover that's getting some action again, number one, right? That's a catalyst, momentum, prior day mover. And it's a mid-candle breakout as well, right? So we have a pretty decent mid-candle breakout on AGRI. We were talking about this one on Thursday, right? Thursday, I'm like, I don't really know if this is going to be a stock that we should really get long on Friday. Same thing Friday. We had it on watch, and I'm like, guys, I don't really think we're going to see that big time move. I think we're going to set up for a mid-candle breakout. And if so, this is going to be the number one stock that we watch come Money Monday morning, right? Is AGRI over that level of resistance, which was Thursday's close and Friday's spiking high, 343. What happened this morning in pre-market? Right when we broke above 343, we saw a lot of volume really start to move on in, pushing the stock up towards around 420. So we are starting to see the start of our mid-candle breakout. Support right now, 343 on AGRI. Top resistance, pre-market highs of call it 415. All right, 415, okay? So we know where support's at, 343. We know where top resistance is, 415. How high could it go, right? Let's look left. Let's go look at Thursday's levels and see how high the stock could go. Well, let's go look at Thursday. And we see that there was a good amount of resistance right here at 461. Look at all that resistance at 461. We could see it up to 461, right? Breaking over that 461 to 470. Where's your next level of resistance? $5, right? So we're prepared. We have a plan. We know why the stock's moving. We know the stock can move. It's a low float stock. We know we have pretty good volume coming off of a prior day mover and a mid-candle breakout formation as well. AGRI has a lot of great potential today. Support, 343. Top resistance, 415. Over 415, room to 461. Over 461, $5. Now, we have our plan in place, right? Somewhat of a plan. We know support, resistance, why the stock's moving. We know the stock can rip and run. It's on the watch list. It's something we're definitely watching. Now we just have to wait for a setup, right? That's it. We can't buy it right now. Why would we even touch it right now? It's just selling off. It's fading and falling a little bit. There has to be a strategy. There has to be a setup. Break of a downtrend, wash out long bounce play. I said there's got to be something, right? That's the only piece of the puzzle we're missing, right? We're 99% of the way there. We're missing one piece to the puzzle to complete the puzzle. And that piece, that missing piece, is simply what? A strategy, a setup, or formation, something that gives us, you know, high odds of being right with low odds of being wrong, an 80-20 setup. That's all we're missing. So we're 99% of the way there. Now we just have to sit back and be disciplined. The hardest part about trading is this part right here. Identifying a good stock, but waiting to make your entry. Most traders would be buying it right now before it even sets up. That's a bad entry. wait for it to set up, get prepared, just be patient and wait. You already know exactly where support's at. You know where resistance is. If this stock sets up at support, we know we can get long, put stops under support, and ride it back up to our first target, which is our first level of resistance. Now it's just a game of patience and discipline, sitting back and waiting for the best of the best opportunities. So AGRI, definitely a top stock I would like to be watching today. Followed by MGLD. All right, MGLD was a newer IPO stock there on Thursday. Friday morning, just started ripping on up from $2 all the way to $8.89. We saw that nice bounce off 341 there in pre-market. We saw that big time rip up to $7 on MGLD. Friday out of the gate. Didn't really do too much thereafter on Friday, but we have this big old downtrend. You guys see that from pre-market highs on Friday? Look at that big old downtrend that we have. What did we do? We came back down the 341 support this morning. We broke the downtrend. We are on the bullish side of the downtrend, right? So we broke above, looking pretty good. We just don't really have the volume yet, but this is a stock that could rip and run. Why is that? It's a newer IPO stock. What do traders like to do in this market when nothing else is really ripping and running? They like to go trade these newer IPO stocks, and that's exactly what took place on Friday, right? From $341 to $7. That was literally 100% on MGLD in the first 30 minutes of the day, right? So we definitely want to watch MGLD. Newer IPO stock could definitely rip and run and take on off. We know we have support back down, the best support at 341, but we've established new support right around $4. Friday low in pre-market, Friday low, and then a pre-market low today. So we do have $4 support below $4. We could see it fade and fall back down towards around 341. But if we can stay above $4, we could absolutely see some action today with MGLD. I'd be looking for a re-break of $5. Getting back above 5 and holding above 5, that's where I start to get interested with MGLD. We do have room to 578 to those pre-market highs. And then just look left. Look at Friday's levels, right? We would have some room up towards around 658. We'd have some room up towards around 7. Those spiking highs in pre-market, 743. And then possibly back up to that Friday pre-market high of 889. So we have our levels marked up. We know where resistance is. We know where we should be locking in profit. We know where support's at. We know we just broke this massive downtrend. We are on the bullish side. It's a newer IPO stock. It could rip and run. And we know we want to see this break and hold above 5. And that shows strength. Getting above and staying above $5 really does show some strength. And that's what happened on Friday. We broke above 5. We pulled back to 5. We had a really nice $1.50 bounce on up. So breaking and holding above 5 shows strength. That's where I get interested in the stock. I know we have room to 578, and then over 578 to 658, 702, 743, and then possibly 886 on MGLD. So MGLD is another top stock I want to keep a lot of focus on today, as this stock has a lot of great potential to the upside. MGLD number 2 for the day. KALA number 3. KALA was our beautiful mid-candle breakout on Thursday, right? So we had a nice little day there on Tuesday. Wednesday, setting up for a mid-candle breakout. We took this trade out of the gate Thursday. We locked in some great profits, and we actually saw more volume move in on Friday. We broke above that 154 resistance. We had a nice increase in volume, a beautiful momentum day there on Friday. So KALA is all momentum, right? That's what this is. We had a nice big day Tuesday, mid-candle breakout, momentum carrying in Thursday and Friday, increased volume. We are breaking above 169 resistance and trying to hold that support. So KALA is showing a lot of strength today. And I definitely want to keep KALA on high watch, right? We had resistance from Friday, 169. We broke above 169 this morning. We are holding this level as support. As long as KALA can stay above 169, we could see it back up to 2. Over 2, I would expect to see a lot of volume really start to step on in, up to 227. And then possibly the 200-day moving average would be the final target of 261. Now, I'm sure you guys are asking, but Josh, what if it breaks below that 169, right? How much lower could it go? Well, I would say that we could see this all the way back down towards around some of these lows from Friday, and that would put you right around 143 to 144. So If KALA is dead and the momentum is gone, and this was just a false attempted move higher in pre-market, and we do indeed crack below 169, we know it has all the way to fade and fall back down to 143. So do you really want to be a buyer at 169 and put a stop loss all the way down below 143? No, because you already know it's probably going to come down to 143. So if KALA looks strong and it looks like it's going to hold above 169 and we're long and it fails, we just simply put stops right below 169 because we know it could fade and fall all the way down into the low 140s. Who wants to be holding the stock from 170 to 140? I don't want to be holding the stock that far, that low. I'd rather go ahead and cut it quick. And if it does set up down here at bottom support, we can always look to re-enter on KALA. So KALA right now really shows some strength above that 169. I'd like to see the stock hold above because KALA has a lot of great potential today. Back up to over $2 to 227, and then maybe the 261 this week if KALA continues to build on up and buyers are still here pushing the stock to the upside and respecting these technicals. All right, so 169 support, $2 top resistance over 227. Cracking below 169 support, we have room down to 143 on KALA. Right now, definitely a top stock that I want to be watching today. And then last but not least, we got MULN, ladies and gentlemen. MULN, you had an article that was posted today, but they did file a form last week. So there was a form filing last Wednesday or Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, with MULN. And then this morning, the company announced it was featured on CarBuzz. I mean, cool. That's great. You were featured on CarBuzz. That's great. But again, nothing too crazy, right? We have the article. We already saw some movement with the stock last week off that form filing. Again, this stock was already, creeping up a little bit in post-market because it had a nice little end-of-day push there on Friday. I mean, the stock went from around $1 up towards around 150 on Friday. Was already grinding on up in post-market. It was already going to be a stock that we had on watch today. But then this morning, boom. They did drop an article that they were featured on CarBuzz, which is more of a reason to see more buyers move in and more traders to move into MULN. But it's not the most hot press release that we've ever seen. So I wouldn't really put too much emphasis on the press release. Like, oh my gosh, that press release is so hot. This stock is ripping to that 50 SMA today at 250. I wouldn't really say the press release is what's really going to, push the stock to the upside. It's just going to be momentum. Right? Just momentum from Friday as we saw a nice little break above $1 and a nice little rip to 150. So I would say MULN is really going to be all momentum, but be mindful. There was an article that's bringing some attention and some more traders back over to the stock. MULN is trading 45 million shares in pre-markets. On average, the stock trades 47 million shares. So we will trade above the average today, and we're just there from pre-market alone, and it's the lowest float stock on the leaderboard. All right, it's 4 million in float, gapping up 28%. As you guys can see, we have a decent little uptrend from Friday that connects here in pre-market. We are respecting this uptrend, but we are putting in this lower high, right? We're putting in this lower high on MULN, coming back into the trend line. I would think, we could crack the trend line. Coming into the trend line on a lower high is a bearish signal. If we do see this trend line crack and we start to fade and fall, we have room back down to 148 to 150. That's going to be a good level of support off Friday's highs and Friday post-market highs. Now, it could hold up above some of these pre-market lows, right? We could hold up above 160. We could hold up above 155, but I see the best support being very strong resistance from Friday, and that level being 148 to 150. So if we do indeed crack this uptrend, we do know we could see it bounce and reverse off 160. It could come down as low as 155 and even 148, Friday's resistance. Those are going to be some levels of possible support to see MULN start to reverse back to the upside, right? We do have potential to see MULN back up to 187, 195, and then $2. Over $2, that's where a lot of volume's really going to start moving into MULN, possibly pushing the stock up to the 50 SMA of 261. But right now, keep in mind, we are coming into this trend line off the lower high, which is a bearish signal. So don't be looking to jump in right out of the gates off the trend line because it could very well crack. But if we don't see it crack and we do see the trend line hold and we do see price pushing back above 180, you could look to scalp this back up to the pre-market highs up to 195, and then $2. And once again, anything over 2, we do have room to that 50 SMA right around 261. Cracking the uptrend, we have room to fall as low as 148 into Friday's resistance that could very well turn into new support for today. So MULN is definitely another stock that I want to keep on high watch today. All right, guys. So MULN, top stock we're going to be watching. KALA, another top stock we should be watching. MGLD and AGRI, 4 stocks that have the best potential. Easy day. We don't have 15 stocks to dissect. We have 4 stocks. Very simple, very easy. We're prepared. Now we just have to wait for the best opportunity to present itself, right? So those are going to be the top 4 small caps that we have on watch right now at this point in time, okay? Oil, I want to talk about oil. Oil, we shorted oil last Wednesday, and it was a good short Thursday and Friday as well, all right? We are starting to come back down into a key level of support on oil, right around 103.60. That was the low from that Wednesday dump. We saw it held Friday, and it's also our 20 EMA. Okay, so we have a nice pullback. Now you guys are saying, what do you mean nice pullback? The oil dumped from 130 to 103. What do you mean that's a nice pullback? Look at your volume, right? You can really gauge if a pullback is nice and healthy or if it's not a great pullback looking at volume. So what do we notice, right? Coming off that high volume day on Wednesday to the downside, the last 3 days, we've been decreasing in volume right off support. That's telling me that there's less and less and less sellers moving on in, that we could actually start to see that transition from selling back to buying off this level of support. Oil doesn't look dead yet. Oil could still rebound. This could have just been a nice healthy pullback before we get that next leg up and that next big rip and run here on oil. So oil above 103.60, we could see it back up to 110, over 110. That's where we really start to see this thing take back on off. So if we're watching oil, which I think we should because there's still a lot of volatility and there's definitely a lot of action and volume in the oil space. If you guys aren't trading oil futures, which I know a lot of you guys are not, how can you take advantage of the next oil run up if we do indeed see that next run up? There's a couple things that you can do, right? Let's go ahead and say oil is going to start ripping to the upside. What can you do? You could look to trade calls on USO. USO is the oil ETF, right? You could look to trade calls on USO. If CL starts ripping again, and this was a healthy pullback, and we start to see that nice big leg on up, what other stocks could you look to trade that could get some action? INDO could get some action, right? Small cap oil stock. IMPP could start to get some action. ENSV, CEI, MXC, HUSA, all of these stocks, these small cap stocks, could definitely start ripping and running again. If oil starts ripping and running again. So you already have a plan, right? Oil, if oil holds up and it looks like we're going to start bouncing and we start ripping to the upside once again off this level of support, what can you do? You look to go long on calls with USO or look to see if we get that focus and the attention to move back over to some of these small cap oil stocks. Now, let's say oil doesn't rip on up. Let's say it's dead. Let's say that was a short-lived move on up and we do indeed crack below 103.60, come down to 100, and we drop below $100 a barrel. What can you do if you're not trading futures on oil, right? You could look to take puts on USO, right? You could look to take puts on USO. You could look to take calls on SCO, right? That's the inverse ETF, and it's so cheap, you could literally take shares, right? An equity side on SCO because SCO is the inverse ETF, right? If oil keeps dropping, SCO is going to keep moving on up. So there's so many different ways you could take advantage of the oil sector, right? Energy, oil, gas, right? What's moving, right? You definitely need to be watching crude oil futures to dictate long or short on USO, to dictate should I even be going long on the inverse ETF, and to dictate if we're going to see that attention and that volume and that activity move back into these small cap oil stocks. So I'm still really putting some focus on oil because if we start to see oil rip, I want to be prepared on INDO. IMPP, CEI. I want to be the first one in, right? Before it starts ripping again to the upside. Not a lot of traders are looking at these two in comparison, but you have to. If oil rips, these small cap oil stocks are going to rip. If oil doesn't rip, what's the point of looking at these small cap oil stocks? Get prepared, understand what's moving the markets and what's moving these stocks, and you could be in before the rest of the traders start moving on in because you're prepared, you're one step ahead of everybody else. So I'm putting a lot of focus on oil futures to dictate, can we trade USO, the oil ETF. If oil dumps, should I be going long on SCO, right? The inverse ETF. If oil rips, can we go ahead and get some positions on these small cap oil stocks, looking for them to rip back up as well? A lot of opportunity in the market today, guys. There's definitely a lot of opportunity. You just got to be mindful and get prepared on where that opportunity could be. All right, so we're definitely watching oil for those reasons, and we'll definitely see how the day unfolds and see what starts to happen. All right, so that's what we got going on there. The VIX creeping back up. We know the VIX is the fear and greed index in the market. There's still a lot of fear in the market. The VIX is holding strong above 30. Grinding back up to 31 here in pre-market. The put to call ratio still showing more puts than calls in the market. So there's still some bearish sentiment. We still have more puts than calls in the market. So we have an idea. VIX is still on the rise, right? When the VIX is on the rise, there's a lot of fear. Markets sell on off. When there's more puts than calls in the market, right? We typically see the market sell on off. So what are we thinking today on the SPY and the Qs? I'm thinking we start to crack below 420, right? If we start cracking below that 419.85, the 420 on the SPY, I'm looking to short this down to 415, which means I'm going to go long on UVXY, right? So if we do indeed get that crack and that hold below that level of support from Friday, right around 419.85, not only would I be looking to take puts on the SPY down to 415 and then possibly 411, I'd be looking to take the equities position on the inverse ETF, being UVXY. So again, the SPY has support right around 419.85, cracking and staying below that level. I'm looking to take puts down to 415, then 411. Okay, the Qs, we're already starting to crack below its level of support right around 324. So as long as the Qs stay below 324, I'd be looking to take some puts down to 320 and then possibly down to 318.24 here on the Qs. The Qs looking a little bit more weak than the SPY. All right, so again, definitely looking for the SPY maybe to have a red day below that 420 level down to 415. If that sets up and we react to it, we have some great opportunity to the short side. Same thing with the Qs, right? If that sets up and confirms, we have some great short opportunity to the downside today. But again, we don't know what's going to happen. We could see the Qs open up, regain that level of support, rip to the upside. We could see the SPY come down to 420, have a strong bounce, and see a nice push to 425. You got to have a plan to the short side, which we do, and you need to have a plan to the long side, which we do. So no matter what happens, green day, red day, sideways day, we have a plan in place. We could look to take calls if this takes place. We could look to take puts if that takes place. So get prepared on both the long side and the short side, and then just simply wait for the chart to give you a bearish signal or a bullish signal. And depending on the signal you get, place your trade, right? Keep it that simple. Simply react to the opportunity. I'm still leaning more to the short side, but again, if we do not see that short set up and it's more of a long trade, then we'll definitely take calls on the SPY and the Qs. All right, but I'm still leaning more short, more puts than calls in the market. The Qs are down below its level of support, holding as resistance. The SPY not looking great from Friday, right? And the VIX is still creeping on up. So I'm still leaning 70% what I think is going to be a red day. I think we're going to see a red day today. I'm like 70% confident, but there's still that 30% chance that we hold support and we have a decent little green day. So just get prepared, which we are, and simply sit back and wait and just react to the opportunity. So we got the SPY on watch, we got the Qs on watch right around those levels. Again, I'm putting a lot of focus on oil, and I explained why. So we're all set ready to rock and roll. We got 4 great penny stocks to watch. Watching oil, that can bring some attention back over to these other penny stock oil stocks. We do have the SPY and the Qs on high watch today, and we're all set ready to rock and roll, guys. Right? Let's do this. Let's take a quick little vote and see what you guys are thinking. What stocks do you think are going to do the best today? So give me 1 second. What stocks do you think will do the best today? Do you think the number 1 stock today is going to be AGRI? Do you think the number 1 stock today is going to be MGLD? Do you think the number 1 stock today is going to be KELA? Or maybe it's going to be MULN? Do you think we should be putting our focus on oil stocks? Right? Or do you think the best of the best opportunity is going to be with the SPY and the Qs, right? So go ahead, ladies and gentlemen, Cast your votes. The poll is in. Go ahead and click right up here. Kapowie. Go ahead and cast your votes, team. What stock do you think is going to do the best today? AGRI, MGLD, KALA, MULN? Maybe it's going to be those oil stocks or the SPY and the Qs. Go ahead and cast your votes over on YouTube. Go ahead and type up what stocks do you think are going to do the best today. And right now, chat is saying 45% MULN, 18% of chat saying AGRI, 27% of chat saying the SPY. So right now, we definitely have the majority of chat saying MULN. So the number one stock that we're going to be watching out of the gate, team, MULN. Markets open. We are set, ready to rock and roll. Sit back, be patient, wait for the best of the best opportunity, wait for the best of the best setup, and let's attack it, and let's make this Money Monday your best Money Monday yet, guys. Let's make it happen. Yo, that's awesome. FYI, I took some of my Wild Friday profits and got Josh's course for a year. That's what's up. About $1,500 in profits. I'm sure you've all done that before, but just wanted to claim my seat. Good trading karma. I love it. Jester, that's awesome. Coming on in, locking up some great profits, using those profits to secure a 12-month seat to chat. The course to keep locking in those big-time profits. That's what I'm talking about. Jake, what's up? Good morning. Arlene, good morning to you as well. Catherine, what's up? And Mr. Cole. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, MULN, number one stock to watch, over 195 and 2. We do have some room to 250. Again, MGLD over 5 has a lot of opportunity to the upside to 578. And then AGRI, guys, back above that pre-market high of 419. This thing could absolutely start taking on off. Back up to 461 and then $5. So I'm having issues with my main broker. It's actually, I'm not getting any data feed this morning. I wonder if they have any issues or if there's an update. So looks like I will be just trading my Fidelity account today. All right, so there's your 195 target on MULN. Wait for this to pull back. I would say right around like 185 would be a good pullback level on MULN if we're still going to have momentum to get that break over 2 up to 250 on MULN. So again, the stock just opened and ripped from 180 to 198. We're not touching it. Wait for a nice pullback. I would say a good pullback down towards around 185 to 187. As long as it's a healthy decreasing volume pullback and we stay above that 185 to 187, we could see buyers move back in for that break over 198, for the break over 2 up to 250 on MULN. So again, we're not chasing these stocks. It's great to see the stock make a nice big rip to 198. Now we wait for the stock to pull back into a level of support and then wait for the reversal. 185 to 187 is great support on MULN. Let's see if we can stay above and get that nice little U-shape back on up. But right now, no A+ setups out of the gate. Not really seeing any like A+ setups out of the gate with these penny stocks. Right now, I am watching the SPY. For that crack below Friday's lows, I would be looking to take UVXY long. It's okay, Colin. It's okay. Because here's what we see. We saw a quick little pop out of the gate, decreasing volume, push on up. We saw it roll over with increased selling volume. So this is confirming sellers are here in control. Wait for it to pop back up a little bit, right? So you see that little pop on up, the dump on off. Wait for the next little pop on up on less buying volume into a level of resistance, and then wait for the next leg down. So even if we missed it, we could still look to grab it if we do get that short-term bounce on back up. I would say if we do see that little two-legged pullback, that short-lived bounce on up before it reverses and fades again to the downside, I would say good resistance is right off the open at 420.89. So again, cracking on down, nice little bounce back up towards around 420.89, show that as resistance, and then we could see it roll on over back down to 419.85. If we see that take place, I'll be looking to take puts on the SPY, looking to go long on UVXY. Again, we want to see that that little pullback, that little bounce on back up on the SPY. VIX is shooting on up. Oil cracking on down below that 103.60. Again, we know we have support back down around $100 on oil. Let's see how oil holds on up today. We got USO fading and falling a little bit as well. USO support's gonna be right there around that 72 level. And right now, it may just be a SPY and Q day, guys. It may just be the SPY and the Qs for options and then looking at UVXY. So I'm not chasing the SPY to the short side here, right? Stocks will dump on off, but they will bounce on back up, right? We know that eventually we're gonna see a bounce on up. And if it's a weak bounce and it's a short-lived bounce and we see the markets rolling back over, that's when we can enter those puts. Again, we just dropped about 2 points to the downside. There's no reason to chase the SPY here, guys. There's no reason to chase the SPY to the short side right now. Because if you buy it right here off support and it bounces back up, you may take way too much heat and it may just be an unnecessary stop, right? So again, be patient, wait for that bounce on back up, and then let's look for a nice entry. Again, Friday's lows were right here, 419.52. Below that 419 level, I mean, look at this, guys. I mean, there's so much room down the 415. All right, there's your MULN trade, right? Nice decreasing volume pullback into 185, and you saw it hold on up. You could have taken your trade off 185 back up to the high of day, over 2, and now you guys are in the green. Stops right now go break even on MULN. You had your nice pop out of the gate. We're not chasing the stock, right? There's no reason to chase it. Wait for it to pull back, and you need to make sure it's a healthy pullback. That was a healthy pullback. Decreasing volume, held above 185, right? Boom. Nice little entry off the decreasing volume pullback, 185. You just grab 25 cents to the upside. So now, same thing. Nice big rip to the upside. We're not chasing the stock. You already in at 185. Nice rip on up. Wait for the stock to pull back. Decreasing volume pullback into a level of support. What's new support? Old resistance. Where's old resistance? 198. I would actually pull it down just a little bit and say 196. So if we see the same thing take place, nice, healthy decreasing volume pullback into that 196, 198 support level, we could very well see buyers step back in as we do have room to 250 on MULN. So it seems like there's some brokers that are currently down right now. So it looks like E-Trade's down right now. All right, so MULN, Cole got it. Nice little washout, grab the trade. I like that nice little healthy pullback. So this is all momentum. You got pump number 1, pullback number 1. Pump up number 2, pullback number 2. We can get that third and final leg up, and that third and final leg up would be a very explosive move off these impulses. So right now, MULN 196. That's where I'd look to take that trade, MULN. Maybe a 196 reversal. Stops would be below the VWAP, so you can get away with about 10 to 15 cents of risk. We do have a top target of 250, but we have to look to lock in profits right around high a day at 209. So we're looking for about, what is that? Maybe 15 cents a reward, but 15 cents a risk. Not the best entry, and it's not even holding 196 anyway, so there's no trades. Your trade was 185 for the breakover too. Right now, we're not touching MULN. It's cracking below that 196. KALA giving a lot back. MGLD, nothing. AGRI, not really doing too much at this point in time. Yep, there was your two-legged pullback on decreased volume into that level of resistance, and you got that big flush. So again, you nailed it. There was your two-legged pullback on decreased volume. You know exactly what to see, how to trade those. Stops go over resistance. Got a nice little flush on down there on the SPY, guys. Good job on that. Catherine got the trade on MULN off that 185 pullback. Good job, Catherine. Way to crush it. Colin identifying the nice two-legged pullback into resistance as well as the 9 EMA. We're really starting to see this dump on down now, guys. So we do have a nice little downtrend here. 415 is the target today on the SPY. 415 is the target today on the SPY, guys. Elizabeth saying, this is too easy for you. Hey, when you know how to simplify the trading process and you know how to be patient and just sit back and be disciplined, yeah, trading is very easy, right? The only reason trading's hard is because we make it hard. If we just simplify the process and really work on our discipline and patience and just sit back and wait for the opportunities to present themselves, it makes your job very, very easy, right? We had a killer trade on MULN to start the day. Nailed the two-legged pullback, Colin, for that nice little, dollar flush, $1.50 flush to the downside within 3 minutes. Those options definitely printed. Now we're kind of looking for the same thing. Where's going to be that next lower high to see if we can jump into the short side? So if MULN cannot get back above 196, we have a head and shoulders formation. We could see it dump on off, guys. Right? So you're starting to see a little bit of this head and shoulders formation play on out here on MULN. So if we do crack this neckline and we cannot get back above 196, we could see this crack on down the 185 and then possibly back down the 175. If we do indeed break and hold back above 196, yeah, I'm looking to go long on MULN. But right now, it looks pretty bearish, right? We could really see that crack in the neckline off that head and shoulders formation, and we definitely don't want to be touching this long right now. We definitely don't want to be touching this long. It's 50-50, right? Could it crack out of the head and shoulders and dump on off? Yes. Could it break and hold above 196? Yes, it's 50-50, right? I'm not taking a 50-50 trade. Either A, it breaks and holds above 196, I get long, that's an 80-20 setup, right? Or B, it cracks the neckline and I get short. That's an 80-20 setup off a head and shoulders formation. So MULN right now, it's uncertainty, right? Just in that zone of uncertainty. It's 50-50. We don't know which way it's going, but we do know we see more bearishness than bullishness. We do see a bearish setup, and we're definitely leaning more towards the short side. So I'm not touching it long right now on MULN at all. So again, if it cracks the neckline, 185 support, and then back down to 175. But like I said, anything could happen, right? How many times have you seen a really nice head and shoulders formation not crack, but we actually rip to the upside? It happens, right? It happens. So again, what do we need to wait for? This stock actually getting back above 196 and staying above 196. Then we cancel out the head and shoulders formation. We're leaning more bullish than bearish, and we simply take a long position. But right now, as long as we're sitting below that 196 to 197, we do look like we have that possible head and shoulders formation, and I don't want to touch it long if I see a bearish setup. I don't want to touch it long. So I'm holding off right now, guys, because I'm leaning more towards the short side off this potential head and shoulders formation. But let's see how this plays on out here over the next minute or two. And again, this week is triple witching, right, on Friday. So again, you got stock options, stock futures, indices. You got all of these option contracts and future contracts expiring simultaneously on the same day. Now, this happens 4 times a year, every 3 months on the 3rd Friday. So that's going to be the 18th is when we have triple witching. Now, what does triple witching do? It just brings more volume and volatility into the market. It's not an indication that we're going to see the markets dump. It's not an indication that we're going to see the markets rip. All that we know is it's going to bring more volume and more volatility into the market. So this is going to be a volatile week. It could be whipsawy, right? Again, we see some great short setups, and now we're starting to really rip back on up. Again, we're going to see some extra volatility this week, extra volume. It may be choppy, maybe all over the place, and we may not really get the best of the best trades based on that. So again, just be mindful that this is that week. This Friday is triple witching. And again, we do see more volatility in the markets. All right, cool. So we did break above that 196. Perfect. So we broke above 196. Let's get the 196 pullback and retest. I will be looking to take MULN long since we did indeed break above 196, and it's looking like we could start really taking on off to the upside. So MULN right now did not confirm the head and shoulders formation, broke above 196. As long as we stay above 196, guys, we are good to 209, and then we're good to 255 on MULN. And I want to see a nice pullback. I want to see it come down and revisit that 196 to 197 and then just bounce on up. Again, I want to see the break and the retest. Break, retest, follow through. That's it. We got the break on volume. We need to see the retest. We're working on the retest right now. We want to see the follow through. If we don't see the follow through and we crack back down below 196, we're coming back down towards around 185. Jason saying MULN in at 145. Jesus, man. When were you getting into that trade? Friday? That's what's up, buddy. Good job on that. So we got our retest on MULN. We see it really trying to hold that 196. Definitely trying to bounce on up. You got about 10 seconds left on this candle. A lot of sellers at $2, but we're breaking 2. So I'm long MULN for that that follow through, right? So we got the break, the retest. Now we want to see the follow through on MULN. Room to 209 and then 250. So a nice little simple break, retest. Now we want to see buyers follow through. Continue to push the stock to the upside. Back below 195 is your stop loss, guys. So if you're in off the retest, your stop's below 195. So like a 194 stop, you're also putting your stops below this trend line. So that's a perfect stop. You're risking literally like 5 cents or less on the trade. We do have potential to get 10 cents and then up to 250 on MULN. All right, we want to see that follow through up to 209, guys. Over 209, we have a lot of great opportunity to the upside here on MULN. Back below 195, you just got to go ahead and get out. Really struggling here at $2 though. Definitely struggling here at $2. Below 195 and 194, it's probably going to dump on off. Again, back down into the 185 and then 175. There's your little bit of that dumperooski there. Again, a lot of nasty price action up there at 2. Definitely struggling to get that nice clean break over $2 here on MULN. But it had that nice break and it had that decent little retest. Just definitely having a hard time getting back above over $2 here. Below the trend line, looking weak, looking bearish. So keep on watch that 195, guys. If 195 does indeed crack, this trade's dead. But if that's just a little bit of a shakeout, right? This could be a little bit of a shakeout followed by a rip. As long as we can hold above 195, we still are in play. But again, we're definitely looking weak. The price action doesn't look good. We're below that trend line. Right now, it's not looking the best. But again, that could have been a quick little shakeout. And then we're going to see that rip on up. So let's see if this can still stay above 195 and get back above 2. It could still be in play, but like I said, right now, it's definitely not looking the best. Got about 8 seconds left on this candle to see if it has a decent little pop back up. But again, right now, I'm not liking what I'm seeing on the level 2 or the time in sales. All right, so I got out of that at 193 on MULN. So again, I took it for the retest for the leg on up. Very small stop loss. Very small stop loss there on MULN. So the VIX right now is at 31.23. So you had a quick little pop on up and then nice little roll over there. You're starting to see the SPY get a nice little reversal. The SPY's looking like a solid reversal here, guys. Nice little inverse head and shoulders formation. You got the 9 EMA crossing the VWAP. We broke back above and we held VWAP beautifully. This is a good long setup on the SPY. You're going to put your stops right now on the SPY below 420.80. Right? You're looking for a break over 422. You have potential back up towards around, I would say like 425 on the SPY. You got a nice reversal formation here on the SPY. Nice tight stops underneath the VWAP, underneath the 9 EMA, underneath that level of consolidation. So I would say like a 420.70 stop out. That's less than $1. You have potential to grab about $3 to $3.50 to the upside. Is it up now? Oh, yep, it is up. Cool. Thank you. Yeah, because it was delayed the whole time. There was no data, but we are live on Lightspeed now. Fantastic. Thank you, Owen. So it wasn't just me. It was definitely across the board. Cool. So we are live now. I got data. Now TOS is slowing. Now TOS is fading on down a little bit. All right, so small caps really aren't doing too much right now, guys. Small caps really not doing all that much. You're getting a little bit of a bounce, you know, across the board on some of these small cap oil stocks. But again, team, I think it's a little silly to be jumping into these right now if oil is still going to fade and fall, right? Because again, the only reason those stocks were ripping is because oil was ripping. If oil is not ripping, why would those stocks really rip and actually hold those levels? Probably wouldn't happen. So just be very smart, be very mindful. Even though because we're seeing INDO and INPP move on up, doesn't mean those levels are going to hold on up and those levels can be sustained. So nice little quick scalp on MULN out of the gate. Nice little two-legged pullback opportunity for that quick scalp to the short side. And right now, I'm like 50-50, right? I mean, across the board, small caps, oil, the SPY, the Qs. I'm kind of sitting 50-50 right now as far as what direction do I really think the SPY is going to start going. It looks like it's a decent little long setup. But knowing that there's going to be a lot of volatility this week, we could see a lot of choppiness, which may really impact our ability to trade these consistently because of just the volatility. So your mindset's got to be, if we do see a lot of choppiness and things just really don't make sense to a T when it comes to technicals, but you still see good opportunities, you got to be in a position to lock in profits quickly, right? Quickly. If it's going to be very choppy all over the place, you're looking to scalp the market this week. Not jumping in, looking for a big all-day hold, because you may end up just getting chopped out of your positions. So we're only about, what, 24 minutes into the market at this point in time. So far, good little trade on the SPY. Right now, it looks like a good long setup. Again, you can put your stops right there at 420.70. You're looking for a break over 422 to get that next leg up to 424 and 425. Small caps really aren't doing a lot. AGRI is just kind of fading and falling. MGLD, fading and falling. We got a little downtrend here, and not really. Maybe a little bit of a downtrend. Nothing too crazy though, guys. I would just still throw a downtrend up here on MGLD and just see if it ever does break the downtrend with volume. Maybe worth your while. KALA, no follow through. MULN, little choppy now, but we do have a possible little downtrend break setup coming on MULN. We had a nice little push out of the gate. We're just now downtrending back into a level of support, being the VWAP. We just put in a double bottom off VWAP support, breaking this downtrend on volume back to 209. That's going to be the potential here that we have. So MULN, I know it's a little choppy. Break and retest, cracking on down below, quick double bottom, trying to reverse. It seems like it's just really all over the place, but it still has good potential for a possible downtrend break setup. So I will be looking for a downtrend break here on MULN for the next entry, back up to 209, and then above 209, again, we're looking at like a 225 and a 250 target. Is the yeah, so again, the spreads are going to be pretty wild. I mean, not terrible, but oh wow, yeah. Is this just, this looks like a delay. Nah, this is a delay, a quote delay. I mean, look at that. I mean, there's no 50-cent spread. The only thing that we're seeing update is the bid. We're not even seeing the ask update. That's not correct. I don't think that's a realistic spread because we just do not see the ask updating on quotes. So I wouldn't say that's a spread. I don't think there's good quote speed with TOS right now. That is wild. But again, I don't even see my ask updating. So this ask just updated, all right? There's a penny spread. See, these asks have not updated yet. Here, this ask just came through and updated. There's a penny spread. This one updated. So we're starting to see these asks become updated. It's just a quote issue, right? The spreads, no way the spread's 40 cents on the SPY. The VIX, or the implied volatility isn't high enough. It's 46%. But look, you see how these are updating now? They're about a penny spreads. Penny spread, penny spread, penny spread. Yeah, so these are updating more realistically now. Again, it's triple witching. A lot of volatility and a lot of volume in the market causes issues with quotes. So again, you're going to notice some issues with these mainstream brokers this week. I'm pretty certain that you'll see some issues with a lot of these mainstream brokers. But again, guys, like just kind of looking at the SPY over the last 27 minutes, you know, there was a good setup here. But again, it's just a little on the choppier side. And we already knew that coming into the day that this week could be very choppy and just whipsawly, right? With the SPY and the Qs because, again, of the week that we're currently in. So it may be more of a challenge to really get some great trades on the SPY and the Qs without getting chopped out of position. So again, we're just trying to get an idea of what the market conditions look like right now and, you know, how we could see these market conditions play on out for the remainder of the week. How do you like TradeStation? Do you like TradeStation, Jonathan? Because I thought about testing out TradeStation, but a lot of people say they don't like it. So we do have MULN coming on up. All right, guys, MULN coming on up for the potential boom, boom, bangarang, right? Nice little downtrend break opportunity here on MULN. We're definitely starting to see what we want to see here with MULN, right? We have point number 1, high a day, point number 2 of the downtrend, point number 3, right? Nice little downtrend pulling back. We want to see a double bottom or a higher low. We want to start to see volume move in for point number 4, and we could absolutely start to see that break on out back up to high a day. So we're looking for a 4th point break of the downtrend off of ideally a double bottom or a higher low with volume, right, to get those entries at the break of point number 4 of this downtrend for that next leg up back to high a day on MULN. So support right now is right around the VWAP, right around 186 to 185. Starting to break this downtrend with volume, we could see this back up to 209. So we just broke the downtrend there on MULN. So if MULN keeps chopping around like this, I'm not going to trade it. If MULN keeps falsely moving, I'm not trading it. The technicals are just not being honored to sit here and continue to trade this stock. So there you had a nice little break of the downtrend, and now it's just getting rejected on back down below. So with that being said, if MULN continues the trade the way it's been trading, just very choppy, false breakouts, false moves, false setups, there's no point of even trading this stock if it's just going to keep chopping you out of your positions. As long as we don't crack below 186, we're still in play. So as long as we don't crack below 186 on MULN, we're still in play for that break of the downtrend coming on up. So again, team, right now, MULN is still trying to set up for us, right? We still do have this downtrend, false breakout, but we could still see the follow through and the break of the downtrend as long as we do not put in a lower low and we at least hold above 186 at the lowest, right? As long as we tap that 186 and we don't drop below 186, we could still see that break of the downtrend for the next leg up on MULN. But again, not really digging the price action, right? Not really crazy about the way it's moving, the consistency, technicals, you know, not really being validated consistently. The only one was the first pullback for that leg on up. That break and hold, fail, false breakout, fail. Definitely not liking the price action that we see here on MULN. So if that price action continues to be the way it is, and it's not the best looking, you know, stock, I mean, there's no sense in trading it if it's just going to keep chopping you out of your positions. So let's see, we want to see that VWAP ideally hold. That would be a higher low above 186, followed by a break of the downtrend to really get this thing going. So right now at this point in time, we do have a possible setup on MULN as to why I'm still watching MULN at this point in time, guys. So this is going to be that point in time that if MULN is going to get that rip, MULN should really start getting that rip on up here above that 186, back above that downtrend. So just watching MULN here to see what's going to take place. A lot of sellers here on MULN, guys. A lot of selling pressure on MULN. Look at that, starting to crack. Not looking all that great. Increased selling volume, right? A lot of selling pressure. No buyers. I'm not a fan of MULN at this point in time. I don't even care what MULN does, but MULN price action stinks. But we do got AGRI. Right? I knew AGRI was halted. I know what time we got halted. 9:59:48. We will be live at 10:04:48. So we got about 40 seconds left here on AGRI. All right, I completely forgot that we were still live on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen on the tube, enjoy your Money Monday. Just know that we're seeing some choppiness across the board. Choppiness with small caps. Choppiness with these larger cap stocks as well in the broader markets. Again, definitely not as clean and consistent as we saw last week. So just trade smart, trade safe, lock in profits quick. If the trade starts going against you, be willing to take that quick loss, walk away. Just make sure you're navigating and trading the markets correctly, understanding the market conditions, understanding that in these market conditions, guys, you need to be locking in your profits quick based on what we're currently seeing across the board, guys. All right, so make it happen. See, I mean, look at that. We open, we drop all the way to 380, back up to 440, back on down. Yeah, so I mean, we're just all over the place. A lot of uncertainty in the market right now, guys. But we're just going to still watch AGRI here. AGRI does have a lot of great potential coming off that mid-candle breakout. Just want to see if the stock can actually hold on up before I jump into a position. See, look at the SPY. I mean, it's trying to break out, but it's faking you out. So it's faking traders out, faking traders into the trade for the breakout. I mean, all over the place right now. Definitely not a lot of great opportunity with the SPY. The Qs are just as choppy, guys. UVXY, obviously, just as choppy. You got oil still kind of fading down a little bit. You got USO hitting its level of support, but again, crude oil futures, they have support back down around that $100 level. Maybe back down at like 100, yeah, about $100. MGLD starting to dump on off a little bit. AGRI, I don't want to be the guinea pig, right? So that's kind of what I'm doing. Taking a step back, I don't want to be the guinea pig. And what do I mean by being the guinea pig, right? Well, last week was a hot week. We saw the market conditions. We knew exactly what to expect with certain stocks and certain setups, right? We just saw a lot of great consistency, not a lot of choppiness. Things were just moving well, easy to read. Right now, I'm finding the market to be a little challenging, right? AGRI out of nowhere, ripping to a halt. Very choppy out of the halt. A lot of indecision. Sellers, buyers all over the place, not really making a decision on which way it wants to go. So I'm still 50-50 with AGRI. MGLD is just dumping on off. KALA sitting sideways. MULN, one good setup, but the other two back-to-back setups failing with false breakouts. That's not good. I don't want to see that, right? So I just don't want to be the guinea pig. I don't want to see a good setup get in and it fail and just be the guinea pig looking to see if this is the next big runner, the next best setup. Again, 50-50, guys. It's very choppy. Today's one of those days that either A, you're the guinea pig and you're taking losses left and right and the market's going to chop you out, right? You're the guinea pig. Or you can be trader number B who understands market conditions aren't the best. Kind of choppy. I don't really want to be the guinea pig. I would rather sit at $0 than start to dig myself a hole. Let me sit back, let me wait for the market to actually clean itself up and actually prove that we're going to see some consistent movers, right? So again, you can be the guinea pig and just battle away with the market until the market shapes back up, or you can be trader number B that says, you know what, I don't want to be the guinea pig. I'm just going to go ahead and sit back. It's one day. It's one day right now that, hey, if the market's still choppy, not really giving me what I want to see, it's one day of not trading. That's okay. But I'm not going to dig myself a hole. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I mean, across the board, not a fan. Just really not a fan of what I'm seeing. So right now, I'm not going to be the guinea pig. I'm going to take my loss that I currently have with MULN. I'm I'm going to bite the bullet, but I'm not going to continue to dig myself a bigger hole. I'm going to sit back and wait for the market to actually prove itself. Could that happen today? Sure. It could happen in the next 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 minutes. We could really start to see the market turning around and becoming more consistent for us. But until then, we're just watching. I mean, I'm just watching.